Have you ever had a friend in need, traveler? One that, no matter how badly they'd wronged you, you still wanted to help out? This is the tale of two such friends, and the amazing gift that one gave to the other. In Japan, many years ago, there were two young men. Taro and Jiro were good friends. When they were old enough, they left the village in which they had been born to journey together to the distant city to make their fortunes. Now, Taro worked very hard and earned a great deal of money, but Jiro quickly fell in with companions of the wrong sort and spent all his time lounging in tea shops during the day, becoming drunk and roisterous at night, and learning the ways of thieves and murderers. Still, the young men remained friends, though Taro was very sad to see how corrupt Jiro had become. After 3 years, Taro decided to return home and asked his friend to join him. It was his hope that, away from the city and its wicked ways, Jiro might become again the good man he had once seemed. In truth, Jiro had borrowed and spent a great deal of money, and many of his former companions were demanding he pay them back. He was eager to escape the city because he had no intention of making good his debts. So he said to Taro, "I really do want to go back, but I have no clothes for the trip." Since he now had a good deal of money, Taro happily shared it with his friend. He gave Jiro money enough for clothes and some extra to buy food and lodging along the way. However, when they reached the mountain pass, beyond which lay their home village, Jiro attacked Taro and killed his friend. He took Taro's money, rolled the body beneath a bush, and went the rest of the way home as if nothing had happened. The villagers greeted him warmly, and many asked, "What has become of your good friend Taro?" "Oh," replied Jiro, "that is a sad story. He fell in with bad companions the moment we reached the city. From that day to this, he has done nothing but waste his money in the company of the most wicked men. I begged him to return with me in the hopes that he would mend his ways once he was home, but he only laughed at me and made rude remarks about the village and he and his criminal friends, and they drove me away." At this, there was much indignant head-shaking among the villagers, who said that Taro deserved whatever misery happened to him. For the few days, Jiro made a show of being the same good-hearted fellow he had once been, but he quickly began to gamble and waste his money in drunken revels. Soon he had spent all the money he had stolen from Taro. Because he refused to do honest work, he decided to return to the city, where he would give himself another name and live by stealing from wealthy citizens. On his way back, he again traveled the mountain pass where he had killed his friend Taro. As he was striding through the pass, he heard a voice calling, "Jiro! Jiro!" Puzzled, he looked all around, but he could see nothing except bushes and rocky mountain walls. Thinking the wind was playing a trick on him, he continued on his way. But he had only gone a few paces when the voice cried again, "Jiro! Jiro!" Determined to find the answer to this mystery, he followed the cries to the thicket far back from the road. Parting the brush and peering through, Jiro discovered a skeleton sprawled on the ground. Even as he looked on in amazement, the skeleton sat up and said, "Has it been such a long time that you've forgotten me, my friend? I am Taro, whom you killed and robbed. I have been waiting here, hoping I would meet you again someday." Terrified, Jiro turned to run, but the skeleton seized his kimono by its bony hand and would not let him escape. "Don't be so quick to run away. Tell me what you've been doing since you struck me down." Choking with fear, Jiro told how he had gone home and spent all Taro's money and was now going to the city to become a thief. "You haven't changed," said the skeleton, "but you are sure to come to a bad end if you become a thief. I have a better idea. I will dance, like this." Here the skeleton began to dance, rattling and clattering his bones together, waving his arms in the air and kicking with his legs. Then he continued, "You can put me in a box and carry me around with you, and people will pay you to see me dance. Since I don't eat or wear clothes and money means nothing to me, you can earn a great deal without expense." "Why should you do this for me?" asked Jiro, though his mind was already filled with pictures of the fortune he would earn. "I am bound to you in death as in life," said Taro. "Will you accept my offer?" "Yes," said Jiro. Then he took the skeleton and purchased a beautiful teakwood chest to store it in, and toured the countryside playing a flute while the skeleton danced in front of wondering crowds. The money poured in, enough so that Jiro could spend it as fast and foolishly as before, and still have some left over. Eventually, word of Jiro and his dancing skeleton reached the most powerful lord of the province. He summoned Jiro to his castle and told him to have the skeleton dance in the vast hall that was filled with his guests. Jiro opened the chest, stretching Taro's skeleton out on the bamboo matting, and began to play a lively tune on his flute, but the skeleton simply lay there. Jiro played tune after tune, then began to yell and curse, but the skeleton refused to move. Finally, in a rage, Jiro took his flute and began to beat upon the bones, commanding them to get up and dance. At that moment, the skeleton sat up, climbed to its feet, and walked to the throne of the great lord. There, bowing humbly, it said, "My lord, I have been dancing all this time, just so word would reach you that I will be brought before you. In my life, I was your honest subject Taro. This fellow killed me and robbed me of my money." Then the skeleton told exactly how this had happened. The lord, who was a just man, was angered at the way Jiro had betrayed his friend. "Seize that man and take him away to be tried," he ordered his guards. At that moment, the skeleton fell to pieces before the throne, and 3 days later, Jiro was sentenced to death for his crime of betrayal.